Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
As we welcome you into the Fairways of Life show from wherever around the globe you're joining us today, we are joined by an absolute legend, a World Golf Hall of Fame member in the form of Nancy Lopez. Love to catch up with Nancy. Of course, she is a three-time major champion. She won, wait for it, 48 times on the LPGA Tour. She's a member of the first United States Solheim Cup team in 1990. She captained the victorious 2005 United States Solheim Cup team. She was a five-time LPGA Tour Player of the Year. Details to follow accordingly to this, too. 1978. That was her rookie year on the LPGA. What she did was absolutely unbelievable, and it definitely relates to what's happening in the game right now. She was a 1998 USGA Bob Jones Award recipient, the year 2000 Old Tom Morris Award recipient. Her accolades, honestly, are too numerous to even try to list. I'll give you this insane nugget, though. When we dig back into her life, she won the New Mexico Women's Amateur in 1969. She was 12 years old. In fact, she played in the U.S. Women's Open shortly after graduating high school in 1974. She played it again in 1975. In 1975, she finished tied for second. That rookie year that we were just talking about, 1978, she won 9 times. 5 of those were consecutive victories. As a result, she was the LPGA Rookie of the Year. As a result, she was the LPGA Player of the Year and the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. She won an additional 8 times in 1979. She won multiple times every year from 1980 to 1984, noting in 83 and 84 she didn't play full seasons because of her birth of her first child. Full-time again in 1985. Get this, she won 5 more times, 5 second-place finishes, 5 third-place finishes, and won the money title, the Player of the Year, the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year for a second time. And that's the kind of career that she had. Absolute delight to have Nancy joining us today. Nancy, how are you, my friend?
I'm tired after you read all that.
I bet. How is life for you?
Busy. I have 2 new grandbabies that we had last year and 2 older grandbabies, 3 daughters, and staying busy with that. And unfortunately, I had rotator cuff surgery in July, and I'm still not quite playing. My doctor's got me hitting the 8-iron off a tee, and I'm going to try and 7-iron this week. So he fixed it instead of giving me a new shoulder because he didn't want my swing to change too much. And so I'm dealing with that, which is very strange. I've played golf all my life and never not played this long.
When you talk about injuries, your injury at that rotator cuff, but even if we look at someone like Nelly Korda, obviously she pulled out to rest this week, which is completely understandable. But how much of a risk is there that we wouldn't be aware of in terms of the grind on your bodies? We already know that she had an injury issue that she's coming back from with the blood clot in the left arm, and she's fully back from that, according to her. But how much is this preventative in terms of let's be careful here and make sure that I get the proper amount of rest?
Well, she's got the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. She plays a lot. And to be able to play and get through the mental part of it just as much every day, going into the press room, talking about how she's playing, it does wear on you and you get very tired. Her body's probably very tired also. I think the mental part is even tougher. I know when I tried to I tried to win my 6th in a row. I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, trying to do that. Totally exhausted mentally. It was a tough week. I did my Sports Illustrated cover shoot that week, interviews and, all about trying to win 6 in a row. And I tell everybody I couldn't focus. I would be standing over a putt and thinking about going to McDonald's and getting a quarter pound of cheese. I had no focus. I mean, nothing was there anymore for my brain to be able to play the type of golf I needed to win 6 in a row. But I remember, I think I finished 10 shots behind Pat Bradley at that tournament. And so it takes a toll on you. And I take my hats off to Nelly for deciding that. She's such a great player. It was really, really fun watching her on Sunday. And love watching her jump in, and her family and coach, whoever else jumped in. I would have liked to have been there, jump in with her. But she definitely made the right decision if that's the way she feels. It takes a lot to pull out of a golf tournament, because I know the sponsor would have loved to have her at his event, but you just have to say no once in a while.
Nancy, would you have jumped in that pond? It looked kind of green to me.
I saw that water when she jumped in. I said, "Oh, I think that's kind of dirty." But but when I played in Palm Springs, and it was the Nabisco Dinah Shore, I won it before it became a major. And so all the years after that, I'd walk around the pond and I look in that water, and I said, I really want to jump in there again, or jump in there for the first time, because we didn't get to, because it wasn't a tradition when I won it. But then they did make it Poppy's Pond. I was the master of ceremonies for that, and they made it into a pool. And they let me, the players that were there that did not jump in, Pat Bradley was there, Sandra Palmer, myself, and Kathy Whitworth were the 4 players that were there that did not jump in when we won it. So they allowed us to do that. So we were like old ladies. It was me and Sandra and Pat Bradley. And then we looked back and we told Kathy Whitworth to come on in, and she said, "No,
Oh,
no, I'm not
wow.
going to go in there." So we 3 jumped in, and it was great. We got our robes, and so it was really a great day. There were fans there, the press, and I finally got to jump in, even though I didn't get to do it when I won the tournament.
I've had this argument before. Even Karen Stupples and I debated it one time on Golf Channel. But my feeling is, if you go back to the Augusta National Invitational, right, which was the first 6 Masters, and that was before they were viewed as a, quote, major, and now it's obviously seen as a major, and everybody that won the event, going right back to Smith in the first one, are credited with having won a major. And my view is, whether we're talking about Avion or whether we're talking about the precursor of the now called Chevron, if you've won those events, to me, the lineage should go back. It's the same golf course, and you should have won a major championship. What is your perspective on whether that should count?
I'm for it. I would love that. I'd like to be able to say I won 5 majors, because I won the European also before it turned into a major. So, I mean, there were great events, and to be able to say you won 5 majors instead of 3 would be nice.
Now, when you go back to your run, attempting to win for the 6th time, and you said you were having difficulty focusing and your mind was on going and getting a cheeseburger at a fast food joint or what have you, was there any sense, when you look back on it and assess it honestly, was there any sense of relief when you didn't win that 6th time, and at least that run of pressure and attention for the moment was broken?
Of course. I mean, I would have loved to accomplish that, but yeah, there was so much pressure for so long. Not really from myself. I was just playing golf, enjoying it, playing well. And then, the press was, always bringing it up. Let's talk about it. What do you think? And then, of course, the sponsors wanted me to play that next week. And so there's pressure more from outside than from myself. I truly enjoyed playing during that time. Everything seemed easy. As I said to so many press people this week already, the fairways got bigger, the greens got bigger, the hole was bigger, and you never thought you were not going to hit it good. Everything was just perfect. The tempo of my swing was perfect. I was excited to play every day. Couldn't wait to do that. And it was just a fun time. And for sure, yes, I think when it was over, I could finally take a deep breath. And I don't remember if I took off the next week. I'm thinking that I did, because I was so tired. But when you're young and you get to do that kind of stuff and you accomplish that, it's just really a lot of fun to do it.
So that pressure that you were talking about, when you phrase it the way you did, basically pressure coming from the outside in until it ultimately does impact you, whether it's physical or mentally emotional. How much were you getting that from the top on down when we're talking about the LPGA? How much pressure did you feel from the LPGA, from the commissioner itself, to say, no, we really need you here. This is a run where we're getting attention like we've never gotten before in the late 1970s as media was starting to grow, and there was the start of, for the first time ever, 24/7 sports channels, et cetera. Did you feel that, and what impact did that have on you?
Well, I mean, it was easy for me physically, maybe not the mental part, but because I was 20 years old and here I am playing on the LPGA Tour. I start winning, and then I did start to feel a responsibility because I knew our tour was trying to grow. We had the players that were passing the torch on to me, Whitworth and Donna Capone, all these great players, Judy Rankin. And so I knew what I had to do. I didn't necessarily always want to do it. There were times I was called by the commissioner and asked me to play in some events, and I was like, I'm just totally exhausted. But there were times when I said, okay, I'll do it. But I did it for my tour. If I could help, bring a few more people into the gates, that's what I wanted to do. And I felt like it was a responsibility, and it was tough because I felt like I was carrying the LPGA Tour on my shoulders, but it was also fun doing it. People were great to me. My fans were awesome. And it was a great time in my life, and I would do it over again.
Stacey Lewis, the captain of the United States Solheim Cup team, said at the start of last week that she did feel that Nelly had a responsibility to be out there for, and I'm paraphrasing using my own terminology here, to be out there for the LPGA, to be out front for the LPGA. And then when Nelly did her press conference, she kind of said, no, I really don't feel a particular responsibility to grow the game of golf for the LPGA. Again, me paraphrasing what was said, but there seemed to be a disconnect in terms of philosophy there, with one leader in the game saying, no, there's a responsibility to be out in front, and the other going, my responsibility is to me as an athlete to do what I need to do to be able to perform my best. Where does Nancy Lopez fall in that?
I mean, I think that Nelly needs to feel like it is a responsibility for her. I mean, she's a U.S. player, and I think we need an American player winning a little bit more on the LPGA Tour because we've had so many players from all over the world come and join the LPGA Tour and have dominated it. And I think that she needs to feel like I need to be able to go out there, represent the United States of America, and play on the LPGA Tour and take that responsibility. I feel like I know Nelly a little bit. I was her pod leader in the Solheim Cup, and I love her. I think she's just a great kid, and I think she's a little shy. I loved her interview the other day because she talked about being nervous and being able to breathe, and that was good because she kind of came out of that little bit of shyness that she has. But I hope that she does look at it as a responsibility to help our tour grow because she is that U.S. player that's going to make people come back to golf and watch it full time. Not taking anything away from the players from all over the world because they are excellent players, good people. They work hard. But as I've said before, when I went to Korea, Sari Pak invited me to go there. They don't want Nancy Lopez to win. They wanted Sari Pak to win. So you come to the United States now, and I had people tell me they didn't want to watch the LPGA Tour because there were no Americans for them to watch. So I get it. They get it. And I think that she really needs to say, I'm the face of the LPGA Tour right now, and she needs to just keep doing what she's doing. And I've said before too, once Nelly realized how good she is, she's going to be able to dominate the LPGA Tour. And I always text her. I texted her after she won, and she just always answers me. And it's really nice to be able to have conversations with her. But she is a true champion. I watched her play on the Solheim Cup, and she is a great player. And like I said, once she realizes how good she is, I think she can really dominate.
Now, that's a point I want to pick up with Nancy Lopez when we come back, folks, because she has now said twice once she realized how good she is? That's a point that I want to touch on. Is this about confidence? How do we define what that belief really is so that we can try to understand as mere mortals what Nancy Lopez has already accomplished, what Nelly has already accomplished? The question is, how have they done it? The PGA Tour Superstore is the presenting sponsor of the Fairways of Life show, coast to coast. They are number one. Big, beautiful stores. Very much the reason why. There's no doubt about that. But I think the primary reason are their people. They are professionals. You can shop with the pros at your happy place.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Our guest is that legend, half of those photos, World Golf Hall of Fame member Nancy Lopez. And Don, before we jump back in with Nancy here, I know you must have done some kind of question of the day, and I suspect it's built around what we're discussing. What are you hearing so far, folks? And you can log on to the Fairways of Life YouTube channel if you want to weigh in on this question of the day. What is it, Don?
The question of the day pertains directly to what you guys have been talking about. It's, would you have jumped into that pond? Would you have jumped into that pond? And I got to say, 38% are like, nah, I'm not jumping into that pond. Forget it. I'm not going to do it. And I feel like Nancy's answer, I mean, maybe I don't want to speak for you, Nancy, but I feel like your answer was also like, I don't know about that particular pond in that moment. I'm not so sure.
I just know if it was in Florida, I definitely wouldn't have jumped into that pond.
Probably wise. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Nancy, I want to share something with you. Take a look at this graphic. And I love the way that the game of golf does this, the way the game of golf causes bridges from one generation to another. 5 straight wins in 5 straight starts, consecutive starts. Nelly Korda, of course, 2024. Tiger did it in 07, 08, 06, 07, and 99 and 2000. Annika did it in 04 and 05. You did it in 1978. Then we go Ben Hogan with 6 in 1948, and then we go Byron Nelson with 11 in 1945. And the reason why I'm mentioning this to you right now is because you mentioned the greats, the Whitworths of the years, the Wrights, all these people that were still playing when you came out. When you look at this graphic and you see this kind of combination and this connection between what you did and what they did, a pantheon, really, it's mind-blowing. How does this affect you?
I'm honored to be, with all these people that play such great golf in their day and time. When you're 20 years old, I just wanted to win one tournament my rookie year. I wasn't trying to do anything but that. As an amateur, my goal is to be number 1 as an amateur ranked in the United States. And then, of course, when I left school from Tulsa University and decided to go on the tour, I felt like I was going to start at the very bottom of the totem pole again, and my goal was to win one tournament because I was always a goal setter. So when I won my first tournament, it was like, you're climbing a hill and you're trying to win one tournament on the LPGA Tour. And when I won that first tournament in February in Sarasota, it was like now it was downhill in a good way, and that was going downhill, and now it seemed easier once you win that first tournament. But like I said, I was 20 years old. Everything was new. I loved the attention. It was fun. People were great to me. There were just so many doors that opened that rookie year. And then when I started winning and then ended up winning 9, that was just a special time for me. And to be able to have my name upside so many great players that have played this game, it's an honor for me.
Nancy, before we took the break, you said not once, but twice, relative to Nelly, that once she realized how good she was. What do you mean by that? What does that mean when you say it?
I know by watching her, she's one of the best players I've seen in a long time. And, for her to realize that, and I don't know if anybody ever told her that Nelly, you're a great player and you could dominate the LPGA Tour. And I think too, what can motivate Nelly is that, I'm hoping that she's a goal setter and wants to be the best player that ever played on the LPGA Tour. I think she can do that. She's only 25. But to set goals and to try and reach them, because, gosh, when I was 20, it seemed like the other day, and now I'm 67. And it's a time of her life, and I remember a time of my life that was special, and you can't get that time back. But because she's so talented to be able to play this great game and play as great as she is, and keep it up and keep doing it. She's not going to win, every year. She's not going to win, 9, 10 tournaments, but it's fun to play. It's fun to win. It's fun to look back now for me and say, wow, I was a part of something great many years ago, and just really, why are we here? I always thought, why am I here? Why am I playing golf? And, that was answered many times by people coming up and telling me their story. And I hope that she, just wraps her arms around all of that can happen to her and enjoy this time of her life being a young player and such a great player and a good person. Nelly is really, really a special young person. And I'm real proud of her. I hope she realizes that, even though I'm not playing on the tour anymore, it's still my tour. And I still want it to grow and get better and better. I want the purses to grow. The sponsors have been great. They're trying to make all these purses grow also, because women deserve it. And so I hope that she can keep that going, because the more people she brings in that gate, the more the purses are going to grow on the LPGA Tour.
I want to circle back around about that subject of purses growing in the LPGA Tour and exposures and networks, et cetera. But I want to go back to something else. Andrew, if you could grab that picture of the Korda sisters with Nancy. Nancy, there was it was at Glen Eagles at the Solheim Cup that I remember. If you recall, on the 18th green, there was the slope on the side of the hill where everybody was sitting, the gallery was sitting. I was doing the world radio coverage, so I was about 15 feet to your left. You were sitting alone, and there was so much pressure and so much stress at that moment that figuratively, while you were physically alone, it felt even more pronounced because of the moment. And I was thinking to myself, geez, there's Nancy Lopez by herself at this moment. And then almost instantly at that time, the two Korda sisters walked up. They got each side of you. They're obviously standing there in this photo that we're showing, but this was out in the field at this moment. They got in each side of you, and they put their arms around your shoulders, and it was one of the coolest things. And I'm sorry for sharing what was a private moment in this public forum, but I thought it was so cool and so moving to see it. And you guys shared that moment together. Ultimately, it was a moment in which the United States Solheim Cup team did not win, but nonetheless, there was a moment of reflection, and there was a moment of what I call these bridges that the game of golf constantly affords us with between you, legends, and now the new legend that is Nelly Korda with what she's accomplishing. What does that mean to you to have that kind of relationship with those young women? And I don't mean any disrespect by this, but it struck me very much as these young women was someone that they look up not only to respect, but it kind of had like a grandmother feel to it.
Well, it's just fun. I was Jessica's Junior Solheim Cup captain. She played for me in the Junior Solheim Cup. And when I was a captain, I mean, she was 17 and Alexi was 14. And when we were at the hotel, all the girls went downstairs, and it was a place where you could make a waffle and cook your own breakfast. And these young women were trying to make their waffles. Of course, stuff was everywhere and it was stuck. And I went over there and I helped them. And I was basically making breakfast for the players at the hotel downstairs where everybody else eats. And I think, just because these young women, I have 3 daughters that did not play golf. My oldest, Ashley, 40, is just now starting to play golf. I look at the situation like I'm kind of like their mom. And I treat them like I would treat my daughters. And if I can help them in any situation, and, to help them through a negative time, to help encourage them, to give them a pat on the back. And then I was their pod leader in the Solheim Cup under Julie Inkster. Jessica was in my pod, and so was Nelly. Lexi was in my pod. And it's just a great time for me to be able to really hug these young women and encourage them, because it's not easy. And their parents, Jessica and Nelly's parents, are great golf parents. Of course, their father, professional tennis player, he gets it. And I think I know their mother gets it too. So when you're assistant captain, or you're the person they're next to, I just always wanted to encourage them. And I feel like they may look up to me as a mom, and not a grandmother, but a mom.
Fair enough.
And I love it, because they're just special kids, and really wish that my kids would have played golf like they did. Not professionally necessarily, but just to enjoy this great game. But Jessica and Nelly are just super young people, and I love being around them. They make me feel young when they're ever around, but I love it when they come and hug me, because it means a lot to me.
Nancy, to us, you are eternally young. I want to ask you one last question before we let you go today, and invite you back another time, because I love having these in-depth conversations. We haven't even had time to get into the fact that you literally started out when the founders of the LPGA were still active and still winning, and take it right into your career, which bridged right up solidly into Annika and more. But you seem to have a pragmatic approach, saying that through the growth of popularity in the LPGA, purses will grow, etc. Where does Nancy Lopez stand on how much exposure the LPGA deserves because the quality of the product, when we're talking about network coverage, when we're talking about purses, etc.? Where is the LPGA right now in the spectrum of professional sports?
Well, Matt, it's grown. Just going back, I remember when I won 9 tournaments my rookie year. I think I was the first player to reach $200,000. I kind of picked on Annika and was teasing her a little bit because we were on a committee together and we were at dinner one night, and she won 9 tournaments one year. And I kind of joked with her. I said, Annika, you won 9 tournaments like 6, 7 years ago when we were sitting at dinner. I said, how much money did you win? And she kind of shyly, she looked at me, she goes, oh, I don't remember. And I said, yes, you do. I said, you won $5.5 million with 9 tournaments when I won 200,000. And I looked at her, I said, I think you should tell me thank you.
That's awesome.
Because, and I mean, I love Annika. And I think, look at the players and the purses. Yeah, they've grown. I know when I was a rookie on the tour, I'm going to use my hands. We were here. The PGA Tour was here. And we got there, and then they went way up and left us behind again. And I just really thought my rookie year, I said, we're going to catch up with the PGA Tour in purse money. But we haven't. We have grown a lot. But I think it does have a lot to do with, the sponsors, of course, but also we need to bring more people in the gate to watch the LPGA Tour. We have a great tour. We have great players. I think people can relate with the LPGA Tour even more so than the PGA, because we have these women that are not great big like the guys are, and they hit it, 285, 290.
Oh, yeah.
And I just feel like, everyone needs to realize how good these players are, why everybody wants to rub elbows with the guys. I mean, I kind of understand it, but the LPGA Tour, what they provide for customers and sponsors, it's a great tour, and we need to keep it growing, and whatever it takes, we need to do that. I think, being on television more, longer, and just any way that, how do we do that? Sometimes people ask me, why haven't our purses grown to what the guys have? And I really don't know why. The only reason I come up with is, more people in the gate, that helps the purses grow, because we have some great players out there from all countries and here in the United States.
All right, Nancy Lopez, absolute legend, has the credibility to speak on all these points that she is sharing with us today. She's also sharing of herself in a number of different endeavors, whether, Nancy, we're talking about clubs, we're talking about apparel, we're talking about your travel business, you're keeping yourself busy.
I am, and it's great. I have a clothing company and a golf club company. This started many, many years ago. I sat in the room with Arnold Palmer, and he had Arnold Palmer Golf, and he asked me if I would like to start a women's golf club company. And at that time, it was just a club company, not a clothing company. I said, absolutely, because back then, I don't think anybody made clubs just for women. So that was important to me, to provide something for women, just for them. And then I started a company 10 years ago, Nancy Lopez Golf Adventures, where my 2 teaching professionals, LPGA teaching professionals, Teresa Zamboni and Sue Powers, they pretty much put it all together, because I looked at them, I said, I want to give back. What can we do? And they came up with a plan. Our mantra is play happy, because my dad said I always played better when I played happy. And so we take people all over the world, and in the United States, it could be, I think the most we've had at one of our events is 43. We teach and we play with them. There's some schools that are more for teaching and less playing, and then there's some more playing, less teaching. And then I'm on the board now of Fools of Honor, which is an awesome organization. Colonel Dan Rooney started this, and what we do is we raise money to send the kids of fallen soldiers and first responders to school to help them get their education. So I'm involved in a lot of things. I have my charity, Aim for the Handicap, Adventures in Movement, where this is going to be my 43rd year having a Pro-Am at the Villages, Florida. And we've made a lot of money to help children with special needs. And it's fun to give back. I like to play in all kinds of events with other professionals to help them raise money for their charity. So when you're blessed and you have a chance to give back, I think it's so important to do that. And I've been blessed, and I keep trying to do that.
Nancy's father, Domingo, said, play happy, as she noted, and happy is exactly what we are whenever we get a chance to chat with you, an absolute legend. Nancy Lopez, member of the World Golf Hall of Fame. Thank you very, very much for your time, as ever.
Thank you,
We'll be
Matt.
back with, our pleasure, I can tell you that. We'll be back with more of the Fairways of Life show right after this, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by a winner on the PGA Tour. Stay with us.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. Matt Adams here with you. Dom and Andrew are behind the glass. We welcome your company from wherever you're joining us around the world. Nate Lashley had an incredible journey to success. Obviously everyone's path is different, but his was truly one about grinding his way to the top. Turned pro in 2005, played several years on mini tours. He even spent time as a real estate agent to make ends meet along the way. Eventually, though, he collected 4 wins in the Gateway Tour, led to 3 wins at PGA Tour Latino America, which led to wins on the Korn Ferry Tour, and then securing a PGA Tour card and victory as the 3rd alternate to get in, but he wins the event, the 2019 Rocket Mortgage. Incredible story. And throughout, he's amassed 15 professional wins to his credit in its entirety. He currently finds himself sitting 71st in FedEx Cup standings coming into the week of the Zurich. Will he'll partner with Rafa Campos, and he's had solid finishes this year already. Tied for third at the Farmers. Torrey Pines tied for 13th at the Players. He just had a top 25 at the Houston Open. Great to have him joining us this morning. And Nate, I can see you're joining us from your hotel room. I noticed you made your bed behind you. Is that common for you? Do you make your bed, or do you just do that for TV?
Well, probably mostly for TV.
We appreciate that. There's no doubt. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Oh, well, I'm 41 years old now, so every morning I wake up now, it's, you get a little stiffer, you get a little more, from all the travel that we do out here, and it's not easy, but obviously playing on the PGA Tour has always been a dream, so it's something you get up for every morning and go out and have some fun.
How about your just overall life perspective of resiliency? Because as I was just recounting just some touchstones, some highlights of your career, Nate, each step of the way, you have grinded it out to secure your particular accomplishments, your victories, and going to the next stage. Is that just something that you just say, that's who I am? I'm a guy that I can do it. I know I can do it, but it may take me a little bit longer, or I may have to work a little bit harder, but I'm not giving up. Tenacity is the key.
Yeah, I mean, it took me, 12 years before I got out on the PGA Tour. I played kind of all over the place. Played a lot of mini tour events. Went down and played the Latin American Tour from, I think it was 2015, 2016, and that was a great experience. I think the PGA Tour has done a nice job with that tour. And that's really what got me to the Korn Ferry Tour. I won the money list in Latin American Tour. That got my full status card on the Korn Ferry Tour. And then that, that year on the Korn Ferry Tour, I won in Punta Cana, and that basically, along with some other good finishes, got me onto the PGA Tour. So yeah, it's been a long haul. It's but it's kind of like I always felt like I was getting better, and I felt like I'd played with a lot of these guys on the PGA Tour from college to other tournaments, and I felt like I could compete. So I just kept grinding, like you said, and kept trying to get better, and that's kind of what I did, and eventually it paid off for me.
Yeah, to that point, as you noted, you're 41 years young now, and at a time where historically players tend to go into kind of a down period in their career, more of the valleys than the peaks, but that's not the case with you. In fact, you seem to be going the opposite direction with really solid performances. To what would you account that to, and how has the game, particularly the long game, stacked up to everybody else at this point?
Well, some of these guys that are in their 40s have been out here for 20 years, and just the grind of playing 20 years and doing the travel and the schedule is, I think, probably a lot of the reason why some of those guys, kind of fade off. Really, is this is my 7th year, and it's a lot. It's like I said, the travel it can be brutal at times, really. I mean, just traveling here this week, we had a flight delay and we were stuck in the airport till almost 2 a.m. So it was, it can be tough, but I guess for my credit, I just, I tried my best to stay healthy, do whatever I can to keep my body, in shape and loose, but mainly just, keep like I said, keep grinding, and I want to stay out here for 2-3 more years if possible, and finish my career on the PGA Tour, and then ride off into the sunset.
Okay, Nate Lashley, what do you lie about? And now here's where I'm coming with this. You're on the plane, you've been waiting, it's 2:00 in the morning, you sit on the plane, you sit next to this guy wants to be chatty, and he says, where are you from? So what do you do? What do you tell him?
I usually, say I'm Nate. It depends. I mean, sometimes I will say I play golf for a living, but
no way.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Obviously, I don't get a ton of. You just don't get a whole lot of chatty people. It seems like anymore on planes. Occasionally you do, but Yeah, it's happened a handful of times, but I have also said too that I, just do real estate if I'm in the mood and
I know.
want to sit back and relax and listen to some music or a movie or something like that. I have said that before also.
Yeah, I actually do think, in fairness to you, that nowadays, because everybody's got the AirPods, that kind of shuts down a lot of communication. Lee Trevino used to say he'd curl up into the corner of the seat and pull his hat down. Everybody left him alone. When we come back with Nate Lashley, I want to talk to you more about the PGA Tour, particularly where the game of golf stands right now and his place in it. His place seems to be getting better and better, but is that the case for everyone? More of the Fairways of Life show right after this.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Would you do it? Would you jump into the pond? So, Dom, the question of the day you told us was, would you jump into, it looks kind of green to me. Would you jump into that pond? What are you hearing from the people?
The people are now saying officially the answer to that question is 42% no. That's a very large number of people who are claiming they would not jump into that pond. I got to ask you, Nate, would you jump into that murky water there?
Well, it's just this week to Zurich. You're going to jump in when you win this week, right, Nate?
Yeah, I don't think you can do it here at the Zurich. There's some gators lurking in the water here, but Nelly Korda winning 5 tournaments in a row. If that was me, I'd jump into about anything because that's pretty amazing.
It is absolutely incredible. Okay, so Nate, I want to talk to you about, as we mentioned, you're now 71st. You're knocking on the door for all the privileges that come with elite play. The PGA Tour right now seems to be structured where there's clearly a haves and then there's those that have some. And I'm not saying the have-somes are bad, but I'm curious from your perspective, because you've been outspoken on this, is the balance right in the world of golf on the PGA Tour right now?
I mean, my opinion, obviously, I don't think so. It is, but I kind of believe that these elevated signature events should be just kind of what they were before in the like the Memorial and Arnold Palmer, invitational events where, the top 120 to 130 players get to play in them. I think it's somewhat clear now when you only have, they're supposed to have 72 events. Most of them are only getting 68, 69 players because there is still guys that will have to skip tournaments for some reasons. And Scotty obviously has been playing unbelievable and kind of turned some of these events into almost blowouts, but he's playing so well that, that's inevitable. But I think with larger fields, that might not happen. When you add an extra 50 players to these events, that just makes them more competitive. And in my opinion, and a lot of guys on the PGA Tour, their opinion's the same, is that makes the fields stronger, where they keep talking about they want the strongest fields, but our strongest field is the Players Championship, and it's 144 players. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they're playing 70-man fields anymore.
That's a good point, because it's finished tied for 13th at that Players too. When you talk about Scotty Scheffler, would you first of all define Scotty Scheffler as a dominating player?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I played with him the final round at the Players, and he made it look so easy. I mean, he shot 8 under, and he really didn't make any putts. He hit a lot of good putts, and, a couple fell, but, I mean, he hits every single shot right at the pin. He is by far right now the best ball striker, the best player in the world, and I don't even think it's close. So it was fun watching him play. I kind of realized just how good he was, because that's the first time I played with him. But he is dominating right now.
When you have a dominating player, when we think back to the last truly dominating player, right, Tiger Woods, by all measure, there was an intimidation factor that accompanied with Tiger when he was climbing up the leaderboard. If you're looking back over your shoulder and you see Tiger Woods coming at you, is that the case now, or are we at a yet maybe situation with Scotty Scheffler where if he's in the hunt, people start to notice and people start to think to themselves, uh-oh?
I mean, yeah, I think probably somewhat. I think, you see some of the guys, just this week, he was tied for the lead, and then all of a sudden he's 3-4 shots ahead. I don't know. I mean, when I played with him, it was just on cruise control. He just birdie after birdie and shot 8 under, and he had a chance to pretty easily shoot 10, 11 under if just a few putts fall. But I think somewhat when the players see him at the top of the leaderboard, I think they know that, oh, hey, Scotty's up here. We're going to have to play pretty much flawless golf, and thinking that way, it's not easy to do. So, yeah, that definitely would be the somewhat of an intimidation factor from Scotty.
Nate, what about your sponsors? Who have you aligned yourself with?
Well, I've always been a Ping guy, Ping player. I played their clubs since college, and they've been great to me. Can't ask any more. Ping, they're a great company. I think they make the best golf clubs in the world. They are been fabulous. Rocket Mortgage has always been a great sponsor for me with winning the Rocket Mortgage Classic back 5 years ago. They've been absolutely great to work with. They run a great tournament in Detroit, and, I couldn't ask for more from them. And then obviously I have some other sponsors with Titleist, FootJoy, play the ball, shoe, glove, do that. One of my other good sponsors that I use is it's Symmetry Companies in Scottsdale, Arizona. They own a couple golf courses and do land development out in the Arizona area, and they do some over across the U.S. and other places as well. But they've been a great sponsor for me. They own Pine Canyon Country Club up in Flagstaff, Arizona, so that's been an area that we've got to kind of explore over the last 2-3 years. We go up there during the summer, and we love it. It's a beautiful place, beautiful golf course, and couldn't ask much more either of Symmetry Companies.
about a minute and a half left here in the show. So, Nate, given your life's experience in particular, do you feel that between the ropes that golf can be a place of, call it what, meditation, healing, therapy, a peacefulness? Has it always been that for you?
Well, no, definitely. I mean, I think when you're just out playing casual golf, yeah, it can be a place of, relaxation and stuff like that. But when you're playing, PGA Tour and competitive events, it can be stressful. It can wear on you, because we don't have guaranteed contracts out here. It's basically what you play, how you play is what you get. And maintaining your status every year can be, extremely stressful. And, it comes with the game. It comes with playing golf for a living. But it's something I've always enjoyed, the competitiveness. And like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Playing on the PGA Tour is a privilege, and it's great to be out here. And it's always been a dream of mine. So making that happen has been awesome.
Nate, we wish you the very, very best with your career, with the path that you're on, particularly this week. We're looking forward to you jumping into the pond at Zurich. You committed to that, didn't I, if I remember correctly? But we very much appreciate your time and hanging out with us so we could all get to know you even better. So good luck, and thanks once more.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it was our pleasure to have you on. So tomorrow, folks, we're super excited, too. You know how we've started to do these interviews where we bring on executives from big companies, these golf companies that are at least defining their segment of the game with what players like Nate and others are using out on the golf course. Well, tomorrow we're going to have one on that is probably amongst the most distinctive in the game today, and you'll understand what I mean tomorrow. I'll give you this little hint into it. If you've seen heavy action in Vietnam and now you're selling golf equipment that bears your name, what's the connection there? Thanks and bye.